Let's start with a simple, provocative truth. In energy, as in life, we're often told our baby is beautiful, our assets, our reserves, our national narrative. But the reality, sometimes we're just looking at a reflection of our own inflated egos, shaped by the stories we want to believe in the headlines crafted to keep us comfortable. And nowhere is this more evident than in the world of oil and gas, where what's beneath the surface is rarely as simple or as plentiful as we're led to believe. Take this week's headline: President Trump standing besides Germany or sitting beside Germany's chancellor declared that the U.S. has by far doubled what anyone has when it comes to oil and gas. The statement, I can't even hardly say it. The statement ricocheted through media outlets, stirring up pride, skepticism, and more than a little confusion for some of us. But let's pause. What does it mean for a nation to claim such abundance? Is it a technical fact or a political narrative? As a reservoir engineer myself, I can tell you oil isn't like gold bars stacked in a vault or numbers on a bank statement. It's hidden. It's locked in rock formations or shale, maybe even more complex, subject to the whims of geology, technology, and market forces. Estimating reserves is part science, part art, and always subject to pressure, sometimes from investors, sometimes from governments, sometimes from our own desire to believe the best about our baby. Globally, the U.S. produces about 13 million barrels of oil per day, leading the world. But that's just one piece of a complex puzzle. The Energy Information Administration, OPEC, and private consultancies all have their own numbers and rarely agree. Meanwhile, the U.S. is home to just 4% of the world's population, but our consumption, expectations, and narratives often dominate the global conversation. Let's break it down. U.S. oil production has surged over the past decades, thanks to shale plays like the Permian Basin, but even the Permian, once thought to be limitless, shows signs of plateauing. Production is steady around 5.8 million barrels a day, despite a drag in rig counts. That's not a coincidence. It's a sign that the easy barrels have been found, and the next phase will be harder, costlier, and perhaps slower. Meanwhile, offshore production is getting a second look. Gulf of Mexico leases their approvals are up 32% since April as capital seeks new opportunities, and Trump has opened those doors. But offshore projects require long lead times, massive investment, and a regulatory environment that can shift when the political winds change. Policy and politics are never far from the story. In the U.S., oil and gas resources are largely in private hands with a patchwork of state and federal oversight agencies. Contrast that with countries like Saudi Arabia or Russia, where the state holds the reins and can dictate both production and the narrative. I've known engineers who've lost their jobs for refusing to inflate reserve numbers, because in some places, the truth is whatever serves the national interest. The headlines do matter. When a president claims double what anyone else has, it's a signal to markets, to allies, to adversaries. But it's not a geological fact. It's a negotiating position, a piece of the geopolitical chess game. Markets, of course, are not so easily fooled. Oil prices are hovering around 64.56 at the moment. Natural gas futures are holding about 340, and investors are watching rig counts, production declines, and capital flows with a critical eye. The smart money knows that estimates are just that, estimates. The real value is what can be produced and at what cost and over what time frame. We're seeing capital reallocated from shale to offshore, from oil to gas, from North America to emerging markets. The energy transition is real, but it's not moving at the same pace everywhere. Technology is helping, horizontal drilling, enhanced recovery, digital monitoring, but there's no silver bullets. Even with the best technology, we're still human. We want to believe our baby is the best. We're susceptible to hype, hope, and comfort of simple stories. But wisdom comes from the distance, from a perspective, from willingness to question, analyze, and accept complexity. So what does all this mean? It means to the collective that the individual can wake up and see through the headlines, through the story, and through the complexities. We're not doomed to be manipulated by headlines or trapped by our own egos. But it is a process. It takes time for the public to understand that energy, like freedom, is not simply given, it's earned, managed, and sometimes rationed. The US narrative is powerful, but it's not universal. Our infrastructure, our consumption patterns, our political debates, they're unique, and sometimes they blind us to the realities faced by the other 96% of the world. What works here won't necessarily work elsewhere. And that's okay. Who am I to say? Who are you? We can't force a green revolution overnight. 2030, 2035, those are ambitious targets, but 2050 might be more realistic. And even then, the solutions will be as diverse and as the communities that need them. So here's the takeaway. Don't fall in love with your own narrative. Question the numbers. Seek out all the data, but also keep in mind the context that it's presented. Recognize that comfort and wisdom are slowly built through honest analysis and willingness to see things as they are, not just as we wish them to be. Watch for the signals, shifts in capital, changes in policy, the quiet moves behind the headlines. The energy game rewards those who see around the corner, balance optimism with realism, and who never stop asking, is our baby as beautiful as we think? Mark Roach, FutureWise Energy, trying to help you stay ahead of the curve.